Hey everybody, I'm Sal Sincata, and we are here today checking out the brand new Panasonic S1R. I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, right? So we're going to do a photo shoot here today and actually use the camera. Tech specs all online. As you know, I don't need to regurgitate tech specs to you. I want to know how this thing is going to perform in the field, and I do want to show you a little something here. So I've got pretty big hands, and so they've got the battery grip here. So the camera without the battery grip, right? So the mirrorless cameras, my opinion, they're getting smaller and smaller, thinner and thinner, and I honestly feel like they feel like garbage in your hands. I got big hands. And so I will tell you that without the battery grip, it's not too bad. I do like it without the battery grip. I don't love it, right? So that's the difference. And so what I do want to show you is once we put the battery grip on, what's really nice about this is we don't have to take off this piece here. Like a lot of cameras that have a battery grip, you got to remove the kind of latch. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass. And so they've done really good here. This comes on. And what I will tell you while I'm screwing this on is that with the battery grip, I actually am obsessed with this camera right now. So it feels like a DSLR. So just keep that in mind. Like if you like feeling something in your hand and knowing you have control over it, ergonomically, I gotta give hats off to Panasonic here. They have done an incredible job ergonomically. Something else worth noting, it's a little thing. Usually in the battery grips, they take 2 batteries. This actually just takes 1. And so in this moment, this is the first time I'm using the camera. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing for our wallet because I don't have to now jam 2 batteries in here, but is it gonna impact battery life? I'd like to say yes, it's probably not gonna last as long, but if I can get through an entire job with only switching batteries once, it doesn't really bother me. I like it because it keeps the weight out, and it also saves my wallet. So it just feels good, and you will see this. I can't emphasize it enough because before I ever turn the camera on, I put it in my hands. I'm like, I like it, I dig it. All right, so a couple other things with the camera, right? 47 megapixel. It's got 4K 60p video. It's got image stabilization built in, and this is huge. Don't underestimate having that built in. They claim 5.5 stops of shake that it will absorb with their image stabilization. So I do want to test it and see if we can pull that off. They've got 6K video in here where you can pull out a frame and get an 18 megapixel still image. So we're going to put that to the test as well. And other than that, let's use this on a shoot. Let's take some frames. Let's see what the results look like, right? You've got the auto focusing, you know, the tracking that's built in. I think over the years, Panasonic, Sony, right, Canon, Nikon, all these companies are chasing this focus, this tracking, right? And the easier they make it for us to get sharper images, the more we love their cameras. And so it looks so far like they've done an incredible job with tracking. We'll see. We'll put a little bit of it to the test. But other than that, I want to stop talking about it. Let's use it on an actual shoot. All right, so first up, I've got Diana with me. Beautiful red dress. Really a simple scene, right? We've got it backlit, and I want to get a nice headshot of her. So right now, what I do have is a 50mm lens. You can use your 50, use your 85. You don't want to go much wider, you'll skew it. But what I do like about this particular lens is it's Lumix S Pro 50mm 1.4. So we're gonna get that really shallow depth of field with it, which is what I want for this. I'm also gonna use a reflector because I want to push some fill light in there. Or I can just expose for her face and then blow the background out. Not really my style, but we'll try both, see what it looks like. So we'll go with and without the reflector, and you guys can decide which one looks better. But again, here from a settings perspective, I'm at ISO 100 f1.4. So let's get to it. Sabrina, why don't you give me a hand here? Put that bag down. Yeah, I want to stop for a second. So this is showing you, this is really the first time I'm using it. Just to give you perspective, when I was going vertical or horizontal, in the horizontal position, the joystick's here to move your focus point. And when I went vertical with it, I'm like struggling to keep touching this. It doesn't make any sense. And of course, dumb user, there's a joystick here for the vertical position. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. All right, so Diana rocked out the first scene. I love what I'm seeing. I shot everything wide open at 1.4. I got super close with the 50 millimeter, which is not something I would normally do, but I really do like the final setup. And we brought the reflector in and just had some really harsh light on her. And you're seeing we didn't need flash, strobe, any of that other, complicated equipment. Natural light, backlit her, and pushed it into her. Now I want to get a wider shot. I think we have a 24-105, and so we're going to use that. It's a 24-105. 4 millimeter, sorry, F4, I just made something up like 4 millimeter, yeah, just saying words and numbers. F4 that we're gonna use here on the path so that I can get a little bit more compression in the background and move, right, that as needed to go between that 24 wide shot, 70 millimeter, get a little bit tighter. I don't know what my problem is today. It's not a 24-70, it's a 24-105. All right, let's move to that scene. Can you touch her up? All right, so here we are, we're right, I got this path here. I'm gonna start at 24 millimeter, go to 105, it's an F4 lens, ISO 200, and we're gonna get some nice edge light on her. And then you're seeing we're blasting in a silver reflector as fill. So let's go get to it here. Gorgeous, girl, here we go. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm throwing it into 6K mode. We're gonna get some motion from Diana, and then I'm gonna pick the perfect frame. So I can shoot in 6K and then get the perfect frame. Show me what you're gonna do first. I would say give me a spin. Yes, spin, let me see you looking away. All right, so now what I can do is I can actually go through each frame and pick the perfect frame. See, I don't like when our arms are compressed. I like them right about in there. And now I can pick that and then save that as a 6K frame. Do I want to save this image? Yes. And now that's just giving me an 18 megapixel image. So another thing I like is not having to lay in the dirt. And they finally, right now, the camera has an articulating screen, so we can tilt that up. And so now I can get this really low angle. And get my focus point where I want it without having to lay in the dirt. So that's always a good thing. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, there you have it. That's a wrap. The Panasonic S1R, it is the real deal. The images coming off this thing, I mean, at this point, I've only seen it back at camera. You guys have seen the final stills, but what I'm seeing back at camera is incredible. Something worth noting, this 105 really, really lets me get close. I was shocked at how close I can get to her and still get focus on the 105, right? Because normally you're just a little too close and it's not there. So, all right, so I want to test one last thing. It says you've got 5.5 stops of image stabilization. So I want to see that happen. So we're going to handhold portrait here. All right, so I'm starting off at ISO 200 just because of the light we're at now, F4, and that is going to give me, and I'm at, let's see here, I'm at about 70 millimeters on this, and my focus point is right on her eye, and I'm at F4 in 80th of a second. So I'm going to take that. Now I'm going to go to 5.6, 40th of a second. 1, 2. Now I'm going to go to 8.0, 20th of a second. 1, 2. Now I'm going to go to F11, a 10th of a second. 1, 2. Now, I would never recommend taking portraits at a 10th of a second. At a 10th of a second, it's a little soft. Actually, pretty usable.